that foul shit, but you're flagrant. You got that smile to match your fragrance. Ain't what you need, but yeah, you want it. That's what it's on into.
What is good, YouTube? My name is Rembrandt, and on this channel I game, I make visuals, and I give y'all a dope chill vibe for y'all relaxation. And on this episode of Words of Wisdom, it's kind of dark, it's kind of sad, but hopefully it gives y'all a better perspective of life. And that's why the title is Appreciate Life, because I feel like as people, we take life for granted. And it was put in my heart to make this because we all have to deal with some kind of struggles. You know, like, unfortunately, we all have to deal with hearing a death in the family. But even before I even get into that, let's talk about right now. And right now, we are living in possibly the worst times. Being quarantined, death of icons, and other stuff. Like when Kobe passed, a lot of people are still affected by that as we speak. To this day, people are still affected by that. Because it's not even the fact that he passed away, it's how you passed away. It's how he passed away. Doing the most wholesome thing in the world, taking his daughter to a basketball practice, and just doing that to never doing that ever again. Like, I feel like we take stuff like that for granted. Even this whole quarantine thing, like, granted, we may be bored, you may be bored, but look around you though. Are you in a house? Do you have cable? Do you have internet? Do you have a phone? Do you have a laptop, a TV? Any of that stuff, food, any of that stuff, water? Do you have that? If it's yes, appreciate it. Appreciate that, because you have to think, we are not as fortunate as others. People don't have this luxury. There are people right now that don't have a house to go to, that don't have food, that don't have nothing. Only thing they have is themselves. They're alone outside, having to deal with this by themselves. You know, like, sometimes we take the small stuff for granted, and truthfully, we really shouldn't. You know, we look at other people as like a role model, like people that have a higher status than us, quote unquote, a higher status. But truthfully speaking, they're not any different from us. Only thing they probably have is money, but that isn't everything in the world either. You know, like that's not everything in the world either. At the end of the day, and it's not even to take it in this tone, but everybody has an expiration date. Everybody. And I know it sucks saying that. I'm not depressed, I'm not suicidal, but it's true. Everybody has an expiration date. Now, the only difference between you and anybody else is how you live that. If you living your life to the fullest, that's something to be proud of. And money, truthfully speaking, money, that's not living your life to the fullest. Look at Will Smith. This man jumped out of a helicopter. He jumped out of a helicopter. That's living your life to the fullest. When you do stuff that's out of your comfort zone and you're having fun, that's how you live life. That's how you live life. Not spending it being depressed, asking why me, or just being ungrateful for what you have that other people don't. And for me, I can vouch we should really appreciate life. Now, I never put this out, but I have a phobia. And it's not no weird phobia like being afraid of spiders. Well, that's not weird, but it's not anything weird. It's something that's probably more common than anybody really thinks, but it's afraid of death, regardless if it's me or anybody else. In my particular case, though, it's not me. Like, I'm not afraid of me dying. I'm afraid of other people around me dying. And I'm gonna tell y'all why it's like that. So about 2 years ago, I received the news. But before I even get to that, I want to ask y'all this. Have y'all ever had a dream that came true? And if so, that's exactly what happened to me. So, I had a dream about my cousin passing away. Now, I know that's a bizarre dream to have, but at the time she was sick. And normally I don't dream about stuff like that or dream at all, but for some reason I had a dream that somebody had told me that my cousin had passed away. Wake up the next morning and my brother, he's home from work very early. And by the look on his face, it wasn't good. So he just started crying. And then at that point, I already knew why he was crying. And that was the crazy part. I already knew why he was crying. And that threw me all the way, that to this day affects me. Just dreaming it, just me being told before it happened that it was gonna happen. And the thing is, till this day, we don't even know how she passed away. So that's where my phobia comes from. It comes from people that are close to me passing away. And, am I wrong for having that phobia? No, I'm pretty sure y'all have it too. If you are afraid of your mom or your dad or your aunt or anything passing away, of losing them, you have the same thing I have. You have the phobia. You have it. So it's not like it's uncommon. It's probably the most common thing to have. It doesn't make me any different. It just tells us that we need to appreciate life more, because we never know when our time is up. So my question for y'all would be, if you had passed away right now, would you be happy with how you lived your life? And if not, you need to change that. And you need to change that right now. I'm talking about like right there, like as soon as you even get done with this, start changing it. Start living. Stop complaining and start living. Because after it's said and done, you want to at least say, hey, I did everything I could do. I had as much fun as I could have. I lived my life to the best. And you want to be proud of how it ended. Every fantastic movie has an ending. And y'all liked the ending of it so much that you like enjoy every second of it. Like, you know, so that is the same thing with life. Your life is a movie. So you want to enjoy every second of that movie. Nobody likes a bad movie. Because you aren't enjoying it, of course, so, you know. But if it's fantastic, if you loved it, you're enjoying it. So enjoy the present, enjoy the now, and not the present. You know, live for now, because that's really all you have. There's no telling the future. There's not, especially how things is going. It's like, as far as this 2020 thing, it's like how it's going. There's no telling what the future may hold. And honestly, I want to throw this whole year in the trash. This is not a good way to start a decade. But truthfully speaking, every beginning of a year is always horrible. It is always horrible. It's always bad. It's never a good thing. Like, people tend to celebrate the beginning of a new year, but those are the worst times. It's not even like summertime or, you know, fall or stuff like that. Like, the end of the year is always the beginning of the year. There were so many deaths this year alone, and we're only in April. Tons of people are dying from this virus. Tons. Look at New York. New York is flooded with deaths. This is not a good way. We're only in April. We still have 8 months to go. There's only 8 months before we are in December. And we didn't even hit summertime yet. That's typically when deaths occurs in the summertime. I hate to say that, but that's not coming from me. That's like, I guess the norm for people is like, it happens in the summer. Death is an all year thing. It doesn't matter if it's in the summer, the fall, it doesn't matter. It's an all year thing, but typically to people, that's when it happens most. But it's only April, man. It's like, I'm kind of scared to go on. Like, if this is how the start of the year is gonna be, I'm afraid of how the rest of the year is gonna be, and I'm really not prepared for it. But the only thing we can do as people is be positive and keep pushing. That's the only thing we can do. We cannot look at this in a bad light, because if we do, it will never get better. The only thing we can do is shine a positive light on it and keep pushing. That's all we have. And with that being said, I'm gonna end it off here. I hope I enlighten some people to be more positive, to carry on their life in a more positive way. If I did in any kind of way, let me know by hitting that like button, sharing, commenting, subscribing, clicking that bell. And if you want a more personal approach, follow me on Twitter, DM me on Twitter. Link, it will be in the description. I will respond back. And it's your boy Rembrandt signing out. And peace and love to my brothers and sisters. Peace.
The best song was probably on the B-side. Won't be surprised when the label denied the so great. The best song was probably on the demo, but that's not the one that got to your limousine.